Hey guys, it's Christine. Welcome back to my channel if you're new here. So get into the glam because this is inspired by the Victoria's Secret Bombshell model look. We're going for sultry, we're going for glamorous, we're going for that girl. And I believe that this is going to be an easy to follow tutorial. So this look is inspired by the models that we all love on the Victoria runway. I love the diversity this year. And I just wanted to create something that we could all do together. Even though we're not models, we can still look glamorous. This is achievable at home. So I just want to show you how to do this and I hope you like it. All right, guys, let's jump straight into it. I've already done the foundation. I haven't done any concealer or anything like that yet. I have my lemon water, which is my go-to. Let's get started with the makeup look in shade Walnut. And I'm gonna go in with my brush from Sephora and go right underneath the eyes. All right. So since the goal for this makeup look is radiant, glowing, I'm going to let this kind of sit and marinate on the skin while I work on other parts of the face. But I just like to gently dab. You don't need a lot of product for this to go a long way. And just press it into the skin on both sides. Under here. So color correcting isn't something that I really do. I'm going to be honest about that. Not to say that I don't need it, but I don't know. I just feel like with enough concealer, it just kind of works for me personally. I'll take a little bit under my mouth because I do get a little bit darker here. And then just on the sides of the nose. So this is a full glam look. We are not being shy with the makeup or the product today because on that runway, we need to look absolutely flawless. And then I'm going to put a little bit on my forehead up here. Just a little bit on my bridge. Here on the chin. All right, we're good there. Mario concealer in shade 420. Love this concealer. It gives me, it just makes it really hydrated. It just makes me look very radiant, very fresh, very glowing, which I just explained in my last video for my everyday makeup Vogue inspired. And a little bit of this goes a long way, so I don't use a ton of product. But again, we're on the runway and we're not trying to have nobody think that we have flaws in real life. So put a little bit here in the corner, just a tiny bit here. And then some at the tip. And then I'm just going to let this product sit for a little bit because the longer you let it sit, the more it's going to be able to blend really nicely into the face and kind of build its own coverage. So let's let this sit a little bit. This brush, I use this brush for absolutely everything. This is the Sephora 47 brush. So let this sit a little bit. And while we're letting that sit, I'm going to go ahead and go in with my bronzer. So I'm going to use the Huda Beauty shade in Coffee Bean. And I'm just going to put this on the cheeks of my face. I am going to go in with a darker shade, but I like to look bronzy at the same time. I don't want to look so contoured to where it's just, you know, too dark. So I'm going to go in with a little bit of this. Just going to tap it and make sure you guys can see. Point of this step isn't to make our cheeks look darker. We just want a natural shadow that already complements our features before we go in with a darker contour. So I don't like to, you know, just be okay with not so much product. And then I like to just slightly smile. And you see here how this is my cheekbone. That's where we want to place our bronzer. And I just like to do an up swiping motion, and then this is going to end up blending really nicely. I'm going to go above here on the forehead. And that's enough for that part. And blend that concealer out. It's had a nice time to be able to sink into the face and glow, to sink into the face for more coverage. And I'm going to take my 47 brush again and just very gently tap. And I like these products because it doesn't feel like I have a lot of makeup. So that is my thing. I don't mind coverage. On my everyday, I don't use a lot of coverage, but when I'm doing full glam, have you ever worn makeup that just feels like you're just wearing too much and by the end of the day, your face just feels yucky and you just ready to take it off? I do not like to feel that way when I do my makeup and when I'm wearing makeup. So I like to use products that enhance, give me the coverage that I like, but at the same time, don't feel super heavy and just like way too much. You can see we're getting a pretty flawless, we're getting a really good look here. And I'm just gonna keep tapping into the skin. And take your time because, again, this is runway makeup. Like, we're not trying to show any blemishes up under our makeup. So go ahead and just keep blending it out, and do go on the sides of the nose. All right, and we're looking really nice right now. I do went ahead and blended that on my nose as well. I'm gonna go in with my Hourglass contour stick. This is shade Espresso. And we're going to darken the dimensions of our contour. So now that we got the bronzy look, going with the darker look to really give us that like nice chisel, because I do know on runway with all of the bright lights, it's easy to lose the dimension in the face. So yeah, we're going to add that back. And tip, if you tap the product instead of just putting it on your face, you're just going to have more control over where your product is and the placement of it, and you can blend it seamlessly instead of just trying to rub in so much product. Now that I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and put it slightly above so you can see the natural dimension of my face already with my cheekbone. Put it slightly above so that we don't end up looking cakey and just a mess with the contour. So push the hair back, and then I like to smile when I apply it. And here is where the natural part is, but just to give us more of a chiseled look, I'm just going to go slightly above. And a little bit with this product goes a long way. It's very pigmented, a very pigmented product. But kind of just blend it into the concealer and into the balls of the cheek. And I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side off of camera just to save some space. All right, I'm normally not a nose contour person, but for the sake of Victoria's Secret, we're going to just add some dimension back into our nose. I'm not concerned with slimming the nose for a slim effect, but we do want to just make sure everything is, you know, looking nice, chiseled, and sharp, since we will be on the runway with really bright lights and just can kind of wash us out. And this is literally how I contour, y'all. It's like, look, if I don't have a small nose, I'm not going to try to make it look small, but we can add some dimension back to it. So after I do that, I just blend it into my eyes and blend it down on the sides of my nose. Just blend any harsh lines that I see. All right, perfect. Pressed powder, just to keep our eyes nice and bright underneath before we go in with our loose powder. And this, typically I use Charlotte Tilbury pressed powder, but unfortunately I can't find it for whatever reason. So I'm just going ahead and tapping under with my Sephora pressed powder. And I go in with the brighter shade because we do want the under eyes really bright. We want to look very awake. Alrighty. Hourglass Veil loose powder to set. It gives us a nice airbrush look. Focusing on making the underneath of our eyes look really bright. And we don't want to be creasing on the runway. Like, that would be crazy. All right, and we're gonna just go ahead and let that set for a little bit. Alrighty, so personally, I'm not much of a eyeshadow girly. I just don't think it's the most flattering on me, but they always gotta list something on the eyes. MAC palette that I'm gonna use, I'm just gonna use one and just put like a base shadow and a little bit of shimmer. So I'm gonna make up my own little eye concoction here, but we're not gonna do too much on the eyes. So you guys can see. It's just a nice shade to have on the eyes. Here. I'm gonna blend the both of those out with this nice little Sephora buffer brush. Huda palette here in shade Bubbly. And leave that for now. I'm not gonna do a wing or anything to make it dramatic. And I never put liner up underneath my eyes. It's just not really my style. But again, full glam. We're on the runway with this. We gotta go big or go home. And I'm liking this. We're looking very glamorous. We're looking very sultry. I'm gonna go in with some blush, the best part. And before I go in with that blush, honestly, I'm gonna go in with my favorite blush, which is the Merit. Because we do wanna look glowing and hydrated. We don't wanna look all chalky. And this is my favorite blush because it just looks like you kind of sweated and you just have naturally rosy cheeks. And I do like to go underneath the eye too, this out. Oh, I just love blush. Like, blush is gonna bring the look together every single time. I'm happy with this. Perfect. Now it is time for my favorite part, which is the lips. MAC Chestnut to line the lips. And I hope I'm blended because hopefully I'm blended. And a trick. So if you just want to make your lips look more plump, overline them. So where your natural line is, go above that. And that's going to make your lips look juicy and plump.
It's 2:56 p.m.
Okay. So we're lined. Then I like to take a brush and kind of just blend that out a little bit, or just my hand, just so it's not harsh. And I'm liking that. This is just such a pretty pink. This is in shade Fabby 308. Look at that. Okay. I'm liking this glam. My Charlotte Tilbury to just bring our face alive, because I feel like when you add all the powders and everything, it can kind of just look really matte. And we like to look glowing, hydrated, timeless. So I'm just gonna, first of all, test how that's spraying. Of course, if you're on a runway, you're going to use On Till Dawn. Okay, then I'm gonna go in with the gloss that I always use. Then we're just gonna look around, see if we like what we like. And I'm really liking this look, but I do notice my forehead isn't all the way blended. So just gonna blend this in. I forgot highlighter. Oh my God, I'll be right back. But for the highlighter, I'm just gonna use a little bit of gold just to bring our cheeks back to life. And I'm just gonna tap that perfect there on my nose. This is perfect for the runway. Oh my God, I love this. I love this glam. And I am running out of space. Let me go ahead and do my hair off of camera and I'll be right back. All right, guys, thanks for watching.